First of all,
Who gonna check me, boo?
hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So we are now in episode 6 of Little Fires Everywhere, and it was good. Okay, so first of all, let's start off. Let's talk about it. The acting was immaculate. Miss Tiffany Boone, I didn't even know who she was before this. Like, I didn't know any of her work. I have Beautiful Creatures sitting on my shelf in our living room. I like that movie, and she played like a background character in that. When I tell you, she had all the mannerisms of Kerry Washington, not the mannerisms of Mia, because the way we see Kerry act, it's been the way we've seen her act in a lot of her films and movies and TV shows. So the fact that she picked up all the mannerisms of Kerry, and like she was able to give the same facial expressions, the same tone of voice, like it was good. It was like as soon as she started acting, I was like, oh my goodness. So okay, so we start off, we are in Pennsylvania. We are at the dinner table of young Mia. We are there with her parents and her brother. Now, we straight off the bat, we see that her parents are like super religious. They're praying for Mia's safe trip up to New York. She's on her way to art school, and they're praying for her brother Warren, his athletic career. They want him to be an NFL star. So we can see as Mia's packing to get ready to go, she's got a really good seems like bond with her brother. Okay, Mia goes to New York, and you know, of course, we get the montage of her, you know, around the city or whatever, and she enters class, and this is her art class, and in walks Pauline. So we're about to get like all the deets. Pauline is giving us what we usually see. You've got the professor. It's always that one. She's different from the others. She's not like the rest. She treats you like a human being. She's giving us all of those, you know, character, all those characteristics. We finally get some of the infamous train scene that we've been seeing throughout the past episodes. So we've got Mia on the train, and we finally see Jesse, and his character now has a name. His name is Joe. So he's looking at Mia all weird, and she's like freaked out. Of course, she's in New York by herself. So we first see her run off the train. This is gonna come back around. Next time that Mia is on the train, she sees Joe again. He's staring at her all creepy, smiling from afar, and she's like, okay, like dude's like on some weird type ish. So she gets off the train and she's walking, and he follows her off. Okay, so this is where we get the story. I was right. So Joe and his wife Maddie are having a hard time having a child, and Joe says that Mia resembles Maddie. But he says that Mia resembles Maddie, and they would like to offer her money in order to have a baby for them. So he gives her his card. She's like, okay, this is weird. And at first, she's not really accepting the offer, but she didn't turn it down either. She just takes his card, and she goes on about her business. Mia is invited to Pauline's gallery opening. And this is where we see how Mia and Anita met, which is the gallerist that I've been mentioning that Mia keeps calling to sell her paintings. So they meet. In the midst of all this, everybody's having a really good time, and they're listening to a DJ, and Miss Pauline slips Mia something to sniff. I don't know, so I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, it was this, it was that. I don't know. So she gives her something to sniff, and of course, Mia ends up back at her house. This is where all my red flags went off. Beep, 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 beep. So, normally in, or in real life or movies, there's always the older character that is, grooming, so to say, the younger character. So this is what my red flags were going on. I was like, oh, she's a predator girl, run. I see it. Because she was giving, like, she didn't really come on to Mia, but, you know, she gave her, like, the look for a second. So Mia's all giddy on the couch or whatever because she's sleeping over. So I was like, girl, run, get out the house now. In the midst of all of that, though, like, you can see this is where, like, the sexual tension between the two begin. Gets a letter from the financial aid office, and they're saying that they're gonna basically be going up on their tuition at college, and that now she is not eligible to receive financial aid. So she calls her brother and she's telling him about her problem or whatever, and he tells her, he's like, well, find a way, there's always a way to find. And she's like, oh, well, I need money. So when he told her find a way, there's always a way, guess what she did? She ran into the arms of Joe and Manny. So she goes to them, and they're trying to be all warm. They're trying to be all warm and fuzzy about, oh, you know, you'll be taken care of and all your necessities. You won't have to worry about anything. And Mia's trying to cut to the chase. She's like, how much are y'all paying me? Now, at first, they were like $10,000. Mia was like, no, it has to at least be 12 because that's what she needs to continue to go to school next semester. So they were like, oh, we can make it work. Mia's like, you can make it work, or like, this is like, so they're like, okay, yeah, this is it. Like, we're gonna, we'll give you the 12,000. Now, we jump back to Shaker of a young Elena. So this is after Elena came home from Paris. She has 3 kids. She's just had Moody, and she's getting ready to go back to work. She's getting ready to go back to her job at the whatever paper is in Shaker. So we also see a young Bill, and he's super excited about having 3 kids. And so Elena goes back to work, and she's telling them, like, oh, I'm ready. Like, you know, I'm not having any more kids anytime soon. Like, whatever work you have, throw it at me. And so she goes in, and she thinks she's about to get a promotion, but she finds out that somebody else has already gotten it. So she's working under someone new. So in the midst of saying, oh, I'm not going to have any babies anytime soon, Elena goes to the doctor to get some birth control. And the doctor tells her, well, I can't give you any birth control because you're pregnant, of course, with baby Izzy. So that night, Elena is trying to pretend like she's not pregnant while her friend is there having dinner with her and Bill, her and her husband, and she's trying to pretend like she is pregnant because she had a miscarriage. So, bless you. In this, we see what we've been seeing, kind of glimpse and pieces. Elena is really wrapped up in the plan that she had set for herself. She was going to go to college. She was going to come back, move into the rental place that they're in now, which is the apartment that we see that Mia and Pearl live in. She's living there, and then she's supposed to move into, you know, the home that Chateau Richardson, as their lives progress. So she's really caught up in, this is the plan that has been set for my life. This is a plan that I will follow. I will not deviate from it regardless. So she's really tripping about the fact that she's about to have a 4th child. Remember when they got into it, when Elena and Mia got into it when she got fired, and Mia told her, she was like, you were afforded good choices. Notice how Elena's life is set out for her. Her mother is giving her this. Her mother has, I'm pretty sure, paid for a college education. Her mother has set a place for her and her husband to live and their babies. And now she's setting up a house for them to move into. So she hasn't had to work for any of this stuff, which I kind of understand what Mia was saying. Like, you were 40 good choices. You haven't had to really work for anything. The only thing I think Elena's probably really been working for the whole time is like her journalism career. She's been struggling, which we can see. So Elena she called her mom over, and she's letting her mom know, hey, I'm pregnant. And so this is where we get into the conversation of like, what's the right choice? Who is afforded the choice of having an abortion? And so her mother tells her that people like us don't have an abortion. Like, you have everything laying at your feet. I'm pretty sure, like, if she wanted to call in a nanny to help her with the 4th baby, then she could. There's also, in this scene with her mom, there's this undertone of, like, playing your role as a woman. Like, she's telling Elena, like, you don't have to work. Like, you could drop your job today and let Bill do all the work, and you could stay at home. You can be a housewife and just raise these kids. But Elena isn't trying to have that. Elena had her eyes set on being a journalist, so that's what she's trying to do. She's just trying to figure out how she can have it all, her kids, her husband, and her job. This also plays into this conversation that we have a lot of women who work and take care of their children. There's always the talk of, oh, women should be at home, or you can't have both. You can't have kids and work. You can either have your children and stay at home, or you can work and not have children. But you know, we've kind of bridged the gap between the two, and you know, we're working it out. Elena finally tells Bill, oh, I'm pregnant. Now, he was already gung-ho about 3, so she was like, we're about to have a 4th child. Bill says there's no difference between 3 kids and 4 kids, so he's like, oh, you're gonna have this baby. We already know that Elena had already kind of, like, she was telling her mom low-key, like, if I don't want the baby, is that a reason for me not to have the baby? But her mom was like, no. So Bill said, you know, we're gonna have the 4th child. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be all hunky-dory. Like, don't worry about it. And she's like, oh, okay. He says the same thing. Like, you don't have to work. You could just, you know, quit your job and stay at home, and I'll take care of us. Also tells her that he's already made the decision to move into their mother's house. Like, they'll be moving soon. Jumping back to Mia. Mia is getting ready to inseminate herself. We're just gonna do this at the house, I guess. With a turkey baster. I was like, what are we doing? Like, this is low-key, like, what is it on the other show on Handmaid's Tale? I was like, that's what we doing? We just gonna turkey baste it in there like that? I was like, okay. But, she tells Maddie she's still a virgin, so Maddie's like, oh. And I was like, okay, so you're still a virgin, but you're about to push out a whole baby for somebody. Like, you wouldn't even have to... So, meanwhile, Pauline is being the manipulator that she is, because that's what I'm calling her for now. She's being the manipulator she is. She's Gru and Pearl. They're spending all this time together. And this is where we see the portrait. So remember, this portrait has been talked about since like episode 1. Like, oh, it's beautiful. When will you sell it? Mia doesn't want to let it go. I thought that portrait was a portrait of Pauline. That portrait is a portrait of Mia. Now, I know she said Pauline helped her with it, but I thought, like, I don't know, Pauline posed for it or something. That is actually a self-portrait of Mia, like all her inner monsters, we'll say. So I was like, oh, okay, it was a class assignment. I was like, oh, okay. Mia has not been home since she's been pregnant. So now we are seeing a well-developed baby bump on Mia, and her brother Warren visits. So when he visits, he's like, whoa, like, what is going on? So, you know, they tell him, because he comes to Pauline, so they tell him, you know, well, she tells him what's going on. And he kind of picks up on the vibe of her and Pauline. And Mia, while they're sitting there having this conversation, Pauline says anyone can be a mother. Now, I disagree. Just because you push out, everybody is not fit to be parents. Male or female, everybody is not fit to be parents. Just no. So anybody cannot be a mother. So when Warren is talking to me and he's like, oh, what's up with you and Pauline? She's trying to swear up and down that they're not doing anything. Girl, he picked up on it within 3 seconds of being there. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So he said something to Mia actually about keeping her baby. So Mia actually contemplates this, and then you know, she's telling Pauline about it, and I think Pauline told her, like, kind of like, it's up to you. Pauline, the manipulator, is telling Mia to tell her how she feels about her. That is a set up. Okay, so the older person normally in this scenario says, well, you tell me how you feel about me, that way I can say I just followed your lead and it wasn't all on me. No, you knew what you was doing. You were setting her up for the kill. You wanted her, and you gave her all the feels. You already knew how she felt about you, but you wanted her to say it first so you wouldn't feel guilty and look bad. So we get a montage of them getting to know each other better, on top of them sitting in a bathtub. And this sets up the scene for the portrait that Mia sold of her being pregnant. Pauline actually took that picture. Remember, this is the picture that Mia sold to help out BB. So we hop back, speaking of BB, we hop back to a struggling Elena with 4 kids. And as soon as I seen her, I was like, wow, she looks frazzled. She looks just like BB did when she first had Mei Ling. I was like, how the tables, well, they turned the other way, but whatever. So I was like, she looks just like her. And she's really at her wit's end. Bill comes home and she's like, look, like, I'll be back. I'm going to go get a pacifier. We see that Izzy is a crier, basically. So she goes to the store and she's picking up this pacifier, and this is where we see the first time that Elena started to contemplate her life. We've already seen it in the past episode where she went to New York and she called Jamie and they had that whole spat. But this is where she contemplates her life. She starts to cry, and you can hear like the disco music from back when she was having a good time in Paris and stuff. So Elena calls Jamie, and I guess I'm assuming this is the first time, because when he had said that you can't keep calling me like this, so I'm pretty sure this is the first time that she did it. So she calls him and he drives over and they meet in a bar or whatever. The scene is kind of set up the same. He's asking her this time about Bill and the kids, and she's like, I don't want to talk about Bill and the kids. She asks him how he is and how life is in New York, and he's telling her that, oh, he's just got hired to be the New York Post. And they kind of get into it here. He's like, you know, your plan would have been different had you stayed in New York. You know, you're stayed in Paris, excuse me, and you know, your life would have been different, and maybe you wouldn't, you know. He's telling her all these things. So in the process of all this, we was feeling the feels, and Elena got to kissing on him and he got to kissing on her. So they went back to a hotel together. I was like, girl, you married and 4 kids, what you doing? But you know, nah. So they go back there and she's saved by her tender boobies. Her boobs saved her. She went to the bathroom, she got her mind together, and she came out and she's like, oh, I can't do this. And he was like, what do you mean you can't do this? Like, this is like, he basically told her, like, you're not happy with your life. You're not happy with the plan that you had set up for yourself. You thought what you were doing was going to put you on the fast path to a white house and a picket fence. A big house and a white picket fence. And you just thought it was gonna be golden, but you see it's not what you thought it was gonna be. My life is a life that basically that you want. And she's like, oh, I didn't say all of that. I'm happy in my life. I'm happily married. I love my husband. I love my kids. And he's like, well, I mean, in the scene, you love all them, but look where you are now. You're in a hotel room. You was finna get your back blew out by Jamie. Oh, she of course gets mad. She storms out. Now she goes back home. And she returns home. Bill is like, oh my God, we've been looking for you. You know, she comes back in the morning. We've been looking for you. And she was like, oh, I just needed to get a breather or whatever. She's trying to act like nothing happened. But Bill finds the phone number of Jamie. I don't know if Bill knows of Jamie. So hopping back to young Mia. Mia's mom calls her in the middle of the night. And she's like, Warren has been in an accident. He's dead. Like, he's gone. Your brother's gone. So Mia goes home, and like I said, Mia has not been home since she left for New York. So Mia goes home. Pregnant Mia gets out of this taxi cab, and when her mom sees the baby, her mom was like, what is going on? So Mia, you know, tells them what's going on, but her parents have decided that Mia shouldn't attend the funeral because they don't want people asking questions. And I think really they just don't want to be embarrassed. So they tell her under the guise of, oh, we just want this day to be about Warren. We don't want anyone, you know, asking you about your situation. We don't want you, you know, taking anything away from him that you shouldn't go. So this really breaks Mia's heart. And this is where we see Mia deciding that she's officially going to keep Pearl. She writes Joe and Maddie a letter, and she tells them, I had a miscarriage, which we all know is a lie. But she told them, I had a miscarriage. I'm so sorry. I'll pay you back your money. So she packs up her stuff, and then she takes, Warren finally was able to save up enough money to get a car. So she takes his car, which we've been seeing this whole time. So the car that Mia has, that we've been seeing her drive around in, Dusty, was originally her brother's car. She has Pearl, and we see her, she calls, oh, before she left, she called Pauline one last time, and she was like, oh, I'm just gonna stay here a little while longer, making Pauline think that, you know, she's gonna come back eventually. But really, we know she took off. So anyways, after she had Pearl, she calls Pauline. and Anita answers the phone, and Anita's like, Pauline knew that Mia probably was gonna end up keeping Pearl, so she had kind of set up that relationship between Anita and Mia to make sure that Mia and Pearl were okay. And Anita tells Mia Pauline died. She died of ovarian cancer, and so Mia's really hurt. And then she also tells her that Joe and Maddie have been calling, I guess have been calling Pauline, I guess before she died, and then they're calling Anita, because they just want to talk to Mia, I guess, when they want to really see if she had like really miscarried and all of that. But Mia was like, well, whenever me and Pearl get somewhere, I'll call you or whatever. And Anita said okay. So this is the end of it, and we just kind of see this montage of, again, Mia and Pearl moving year after year, city to city, state to state, who knows. This whole time, now we know, Anita's been selling paintings for Mia, so they can have money to continue to live the life that they've been living. So we finally end with where this all began, them driving into Shaker. So I can't wait to see what next week's hold. Like I said, Tiffany Boone in this episode, her acting was immaculate. I hate to say it, but I would prefer her over Kerry Washington just because I don't like that whole crime face thing. But this one was good. This one was really good. So now that we've seen this, I have some questions. Do you think that the Joe and Maddie have seen Mia's picture now in New York, and they're probably going to try to track her down, even though this doesn't pertain to this episode? This was more like a past history type thing. Do you think now that they're going to track her down, or at least try to? We've got, what, 2 episodes left, I think. So I'm really like what are they going to do? And I wonder if Bill has ever cheated on Elena, since he found out that she had cheated on, well, she didn't cheat. She like almost did, but she still stepped out and went, I don't know. But I wonder if he's ever cheated. So you guys let me know, and we still got to figure out who burnt this house down. Okay, real quick, what if Joe or Maddie burnt the house down because they thought Mia lived there? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like what you've seen. Hit the notification bell so you'll see every time I post, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.